What is going on, you guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to the channel, and I just got out of seeing the sequel to the 2019 murder mystery film Knives Out, and that is of course Glass Onion. So let's talk about it. Glass Onion follows tech billionaire Miles Braun, who invites his friends for a getaway on his private Greek island, and when someone turns up dead, Detective Blanc is put on the case. Coming off of such a amazing success of a first film in the 2019 Knives Out, Rian Johnson had his work cut out for him. And of course, the financial backing that Netflix had for him was also in some way a bit of a gamble, because I mean, you can't put all those eggs in one basket, because what happens if this second movie flops and it's terrible and nobody wants to see another Knives Out again? Netflix is out over $50 million, I believe is what the deal was for. But thankfully, I'm here to report that that is not the case. Knives Out 2 is a justifiable sequel to the original film and does not have a case of sequel-itis. Just jumping straight into it, I do think that the set design in this film is definitely better than the design in the first one. If you've seen the first film, you know that a lot of the design of the manor that the film takes place in has a lot to play with in terms of the mystery, and that is no surprise or difference here in Glass Onion. There is literally an entire glass onion built on top of this mansion on this island, and it has a big part to play in the film. A lot of this film is just experiencing the mystery, watching the glass onion, if you will, or just watching the onion kind of peel back its layers and unravel itself. It's like watching a giant ball of yarn just unravel itself as it goes. This film feels more like a theme park attraction. A lot of the experience of watching this film is just watching the mystery unravel. There's not much that you can do outside of it, because if you try to psychoanalyze and just overanalyze what you're watching on screen, you're not going to have a good time with the film, as opposed to if you just kind of sat back, relaxed, and let Rian Johnson take you on this journey. And saying that this movie is a theme park ride is not a diss on the movie at all, because I know that we like to commonly associate that term amusement park ride with films like the Marvel movies or the DC movies, but that's an entirely different debate. This is a attraction on its own. This is something that engages the audience altogether, thinking of it doesn't even make sense what I'm trying to fucking say. It was just a good fucking whodunit movie. That's all I can fucking say about it. There was nothing special about it. There was nothing fucking good about it. It was just a fucking whodunit. I can't do this. I can't continue to be fake with you guys. Like, this movie was okay. It was perfectly fine. There was nothing outstanding about it. The comedy fell flat for most of the time, except for a couple jokes here and there. It was definitely entertaining. It wasn't boring by any means, but it also wasn't anything too crazy. I can't sit here and gush about it. There just wasn't that much there. It was entertaining. Am I glad I saw it in the theaters instead of waiting for it to come out on Netflix a whole month later? Yeah, I'm glad I was able to see it, but I feel like what Rian Johnson did with the original Knives Out, he just kind of copied and pasted it here with a little more comedy in it. In saying that makes it sound like I'm just dumbing down his work. I'm not. It's very difficult to review a film that the entire premise of it is a fucking spoiler. Like, I can't go into detail about performances or the storyline at all outside of just the basic premise that all these people, all these friends of this billionaire are going to his island. But what I can say is that my favorite performance was not Daniel Craig, it was not Edward Norton, it was Janelle Monáe. She definitely, by far, out of all the characters in this film, has the most meat to deal with in her character within the script, and that's because she's really the emotional focal point of the entire story. Because without this specific character there, and I can't even really describe it, because if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I can't just say that in the non-spoiler review. It's literally going to ruin the entire experience of the film. Once you find out a little more about her character, you obviously start to sympathize with her more so than any of the other characters, because honestly, the rest of the cast is completely unlikable. They're played by fantastic performers, but they are kind of like how I said in the menu, they're kind of pigeonholed into their specific character archetypes, which obviously serve a purpose in this grander master plan. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. The cinematography was just like the first one. There wasn't really anything that stood out to me other than the fact that the movie was just entertaining. It was something, it's just something to throw on if you want to have a good time, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wasn't looking for the next Oscar contender, but maybe I was just underwhelmed with the movie is what this feeling is. Alright, you guys, I had to cut the rest of that off because I ended up going into about a 25-minute spoiler rant, and obviously this is a spoiler-free review, so all that footage was completely useless, but I do end up giving the film a, not surprising, a 3 out of 5. I feel like I give a lot of things a 3 out of 5. It just feels like it's the most respectful score I can give a movie that I wasn't that big on, and I don't know, I hated how, I don't want to say fake, because that is how I felt about the movie coming out of it, but then as I continued talking about it, I started picking it apart in my brain a little more, and I kind of realized I didn't like it as much as I did. I think I definitely will end up seeing this movie again at some point. I just don't really think it's going to be anytime soon, and I really, really hope that this next film is better. I didn't think this was an absolute garbage dumpster fire. It was definitely a worthy sequel. Like, if I read this script as a producer, I wouldn't throw it in the trash can. Maybe I would try to fix a couple of things before greenlighting it, but I do see why they greenlit the film. It's not complete fucking garbage. But at the same time, it was a step down from what the original Knives Out was able to accomplish. I felt like the mystery was a little better told, or at least not as predictable as this one. I feel like Johnson kind of wrote himself into a corner, especially towards the last 20 minutes of the film, and he didn't really know what to do, so he blew it up. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. But with that said, I am going to give Glass Onion, a Knives Out story, a 3 out of 5. There just wasn't enough there for me to love. But with that said, that's going to be pretty much all from me for today, you guys. I still have Devotion, Strange World, and She Said to See. So be on the lookout for those reviews as soon as I get those up. I just have to get around to actually going to see them. I've already seen, what feels like 4 or 5 movies in this past week alone. I'm a little movied out, but I don't think you could ever really be movied out, right? Anyway, you guys, have you seen Glass Onion and Knives Out Story? Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And I know I'm going to be in the minority on this one because I out of all the reviews I've ever seen for this movie, they've all been glowingly positive for the most part. This movie didn't work as well as the first one did for me, but I still had a good time with it. I would definitely recommend you guys checking it out. I believe it's only going to be in theaters for, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday is the last day that it's in theaters, and then everyone is going to have to wait until December 23rd when it officially drops on Netflix. But that's not too long of a wait. It's about a month. But yeah, you guys, feel free to smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Be safe, make good choices,